Did Hello Games just slap Bethesda in the face? Yeah, I think they did. So unless you've been living underneath a rock, I'm sure you've heard of the new Voyager update that Hello Games released to their game, No Man's Sky. Granted, I know I don't need to go into fine detail on why Hello Games has become such an incredible indie developer, but the TLDR is back in 2016, they had an epic fail of a launch of the game No Man's Sky. And since then, they have basically released update after update, improving the game over the last 9 years. And now the game is an absolute gem. It's a work of art. It's an incredible game. It's a great experience. Mind you, all of the DLC and updates that they have done for the game are completely free. So if you bought the game, the base game that is, all you paid was the base game price, and you got everything else for free. That's all you will ever pay for. $60. Or if it's on sale, you can get it for like $20, I think. Anyway, they've continued to release and will continue to release updates for this game. It's just unbelievable. No developer, at least that I'm aware of in history, has ever released this much free content after the release of the game. Most of the time, they ask for, at least $15 minimum. For a small little update, they mark as DLC, as well as a slew of cosmetics that each cost $10 to $20 a piece. Not with No Man's Sky. No, it's all free. There was obviously a huge uptick in player count for No Man's Sky. Here's the Steam chart. Everyone is talking about it and reporting on it. This game continues still to this day, generating a great little PR train every time they release an update. It just fuels their fire. So the reason I bring it up today is the fact that the latest update, Voyagers, is literally a Starfield update. Yes, they essentially took the spaceship building system in Starfield and put it in No Man's Sky. And yes, you can walk around the inside of the interior of your starship that you customize. You can do this all in Starfield, I know. But what can you do in No Man's Sky that's not in Starfield? Well, it's the fact that there is seamless space to planet transition. Yes. Now I know we can argue about the graphical fidelity, but if we're being honest, it doesn't matter that much because that's not what players are really worried about. They're worried about gameplay, the gameplay loop, and the mechanics of the game. And the huge one here is the fun factor. They also added skydiving, spacewalking, and a bunch of other things, all for free. Yet Bethesda still tells us that in Starfield, we can't do seamless planet to space transitions. Yeah. Okay, now I understand there may be some game engine limitations. That's fine, but it's kind of sad to think that a game that was made in 2016 has better loading screens or transitions than a game that was made in 2024. Also, Bethesda did charge for the DLC Shattered Space, and yes, I haven't played it, so I can't really state my opinion on it, but it wasn't free. Let's just leave it at that. Now, I'm a huge Bethesda fanboy, don't get me wrong. I somewhat enjoyed Starfield, but I really enjoyed games like Oblivion, Skyrim, and of course The Elder Scrolls Online, if you guys have watched my other videos on the channel. But just because you're good at making some games doesn't mean you're good at making every kind of game. And it doesn't give you an excuse to slack when it comes to the obvious things that players want. If you're going to create a space game that has planets that you can land on, then you had better implement seamless transitioning from space to planets, because otherwise you're already put in a category of lackluster. And I'm not talking about realism, I'm talking about game immersion. If you want your game to be immersive, then get rid of loading screens. Technologically, we have the capabilities to get rid of loading screens. Most other space games have implemented the seamless transition from space to planet. Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky, of course, and Star Citizen have all made it possible. So why hasn't Starfield done it? Nonetheless, if you haven't played No Man's Sky and you're still hesitant and still on the fence because of the 2016 launch, please give it a try, at least once, because the game has redeemed itself tenfold. It is one of those games that once it finally hooks you, you will play for hours. Might I add, the multiplayer also works, and you can have all your friends in the new ship that you've built. You can fly together, all together. Oh, and there's also autopilot, so that's pretty cool. You can craft while your ship is taking you to your destination. I don't know what else to say, other than congratulations, Hello Games. You have officially done the unthinkable with a game that was doomed. With the previous updates alone, you made the game great, but with the latest update, my goodness, you have raised the bar as far as what we should expect from updates and DLC from games. I'm not saying they should all be free, but they had better be good and not haphazardly slapped together like most of the DLC nowadays. I really do think Hello Games is pioneering the way on how future games should be made. Now, if we want to argue that Starfield has a better story, you can, even though I do think that it is up to each individual's opinion, because everyone has one, right? Some of you might argue that you have this incredible amount of flavorless space in both games, even though I tend to argue that No Man's Sky is very vibrant and full of flavor. And some might argue that you shouldn't put these two games up against each other at all. To each their own on how they want to pin these two games against each other. I think comparison and competition is healthy for games in general because it leads to improvement of said games and ultimately better games. So yeah, I think it's pretty funny, especially with the latest update and how it's being coined as the Starfield update. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more content and news like this, then hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and let me know in the comments. Have you been playing No Man's Sky? Are you sticking with Starfield? Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.